Welcome to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. Build Your Best Business focuses on the entrepreneurial journey. What does it take to successfully start, manage, grow, and maybe eventually exit a business? Today in studio, I have Julie Stein. She is the CEO and founder of DermaHealth Science. Julie, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
So DermaHealth Science, It sounds like sophisticated.
Well, that's good.
It sounds really smart.
Well, it is based on we've looked at the details of the skin and what causes it to break down, what makes healthy skin, what is healthy skin, basically, on the formulations of our products, so that we can address not only the symptoms, but also the causes.
Yeah, and skin is it's our largest organ.
It is. It's the organ that protects our organs.
Oh,
yeah, we need to protect it. Right?
And there is a lot about that, like what, people think about. And I'm curious, so talk to me more about this. Is it something that I topically put on the skin, or is it about knowing what I'm putting in my body that may be affecting it?
Well, what you put in your body certainly affects it, but we're focusing on the exterior. Okay. So it is a topical, non-synthetic supplement for skin health and protection.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. So why this? Like, how did you come up with this idea? What in your world said, that's my thing. I'm going to go after solving skin problems.
Well, years ago, when I was a physical therapist, I was also a wound care specialist and was very intrigued by how skin behaves when it's wounded, how you can heal it. And I really loved wound care. And then I got out of that space and got into the whole entrepreneurial space. And it was about 4 or 5 years ago, I noticed while looking in the mirror, I was looking older and I didn't like it.
Yeah, that does happen.
Yeah, darn it anyway, right? And so I did what most women do, and I went shopping to find the miracle cream, and I couldn't find it. At that stage, I didn't really understand the purpose of a cosmetic, which is literally the temporary alteration in the appearance of the skin. So there's no structural changes going on. Nothing is permanent.
Right.
It is literally a temporary change. So while I thought the products I was trying weren't working, they maybe were doing exactly what they were supposed to be doing.
Right.
But I wasn't satisfied. So I started experimenting with some natural ingredients like coconut oil and shea butter. And I really liked the changes that they were making. And then I thought, gosh, maybe this is something that I could create.
Yeah.
And I didn't want it to be a DIY. All right. I wanted it to be more than that.
Yeah.
Nothing against do-it-yourselfers. I mean, there's great products out there, but I wanted it to be more impactful. And so
when you say that DIY, just meaning something that you knew worked for you?
Something that really anybody can just mix up.
Got it. Okay.
House.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And so I dove into basically teaching myself about skin, what causes the breakdowns, what is happening down to the cellular level, and then researching a lot of ingredients, finding out what is truly beneficial, what is maybe not necessary, but I was looking for specific nutrition for the skin. And while doing the research, I discovered that everything really boiled down to inflammation. I mean, that was really the common denominator.
And you hear more about that, the concept of inflammation and how many problems that causes and those sorts of things. And potentially found that in your physical therapy work too?
Yeah, inflammation is big. It wasn't so much of a buzzword in terms of what I was treating back then, but it certainly is. It's a big deal now. And so by focusing on that, I was able to come up with some ingredients that by keeping the ingredient list short, I had a nice basic solution to complex problems. So it's really shown some great benefits for people not only with dry skin, which is what I had. I no longer have dry skin, but dry skin, oily skin, combo skin, people with inflammatory skin conditions, those with eczema, for instance, have had really good results. Those with, those little bumps on the backs of your arms called keratosis pilaris, it's gotten rid of that. It's done some great things. So we're very excited about it. Okay.
All right. So you said, I was in the physical therapy and did the wound care, and then I went into the entrepreneurial world. So talk to me why did you do that? Like, talk to me a little bit about that path, because not everybody kind of switches.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I was in the process of getting some patents to go through and was developing prototypes while I was a physical therapist, and was speaking to the
And was this for the skin stuff, or was this for something else?
No, totally unrelated.
Got it. Okay.
And I was speaking to some CEO of a company that had a piece that I wanted for this prototype, and she's like, you should go into sales. I'm thinking, no, I'm not a salesperson. I'm in the medical field, right? What are you talking about? But then I thought, well, in wound care, I really promote a particular dressing that I use. It's a company that's phenomenal. And I thought, I probably could be in sales.
Yeah.
And at that time I had gone through a divorce, and I really didn't like being capped on my financial potential, and discovered really that I have that entrepreneurial mindset, because it's not something that everybody has.
Right.
I think entrepreneurs are truly their own species. We are a unique set of individuals, but I didn't really know fully what that meant until I really dove into it. But that's really what caused me to make the leap from being employed to 100% commission, single mom. It was a leap of faith for sure.
That is brave.
It was a leap of faith, but I'm so glad I took the leap. I would never go back.
Yeah. And so then, deciding that you're going to go and start to formulate something, like, how did you know where to go and what to do? That just seems...
Yeah, that was crazy, right?
Yeah, because... that's outside. I'm not a medical guy, so that would be part of it for me. But, it's like, that's such an interesting area that you had to go get some context and understand like what to do. And
it was strange because, I'm not a chemist by any means. And now I understand medical terminology. And so I did the research, and I had a pretty good grasp of what I needed. But the piece that I was hung up on was the percentage of each ingredient. What's a level that's going to be effective, what's potentially harmful if it's too high. I had all these questions, and I was hung up for the longest time. I thought, gosh, I got to find a chemist. I thought, what? I'm just going to get started. I'm going to try it on myself, and just see what happens. And
you were your own guinea pig.
I was my own guinea pig. And I'm so glad I did, because I'm on, I don't know what number of formulation now, but I've tweaked it so many times. But
so how do you know? Like, that's the thing, right? You see these commercials where, they show you the before and afters, or my favorite are the ones on the internet that are just the scam ones where, the person's wearing the same exact outfit and they've just made them bigger or smaller.
or it's for wrinkles, and in one picture they're not smiling, and then
the next one.
The after they're not smiling, the before they are smiling. So you see the crow's feet, and there are little tricks that are done. So, I'm sorry, tell me.
I was just curious, like, what was your testing? Like, how did you know something was working? Like, how did you know it wasn't?
Yeah, good question. So it
how
was
patient
really
do you have to be? Because that's the thing for me, is I'm like, because I always feel like there has to be some time to know those things.
Right. Yeah. And so as this evolved, I was discovering that I was getting results, and the overall appearance. I would wake up in the morning, and I used to wake up and look at myself in the mirror and think, oh my gosh. And then I was looking at myself and thought, God, I'm actually looking better. But it's the tone of the skin, it's how soft it is, it's the fact that it's not coming up dry again by the end of the day.
So that was a good indication,
Yeah, it just, all these little changes over time. And then as I've had people try it, they're noticing their changes as little as 3 days. I mean, it's been really pretty cool, actually. Yeah.
That's amazing. And so from that step of deciding to do some experimentation, and where do you go find these ingredients? Is there like a special pharmacy, or? Well,
there are raw material providers.
Okay.
And you have to do some research, because one thing that's big with our company is we don't want any toxins in them. It's how they are processed is really important, whether the ingredient is supposed to be refined or unrefined, because it can affect the quality of the outcome, because we really want the medicinal effect, and not just having the ingredient in there is kind of like a buzzword type thing. And so, I mean, there's lots of companies out there that provide the raw materials. I started literally just I'm like the queen of Google, so I go in and I would find companies, but as over time, I've talked to some reputable companies, and they've helped guide, and we've been able to find some really good companies.
Okay. And then thinking about taking it from, an idea of something that worked for you, but deciding you're going to commercialize it and put it on is that your plan, to put it on a shelf somewhere, or are you?
Not so much a shelf, only because there are so many so many companies out there, so many different products, it'll get lost.
Yeah, it'll probably be, and people buy the way I buy bottles of wine.
It's
based on the label.
Oh, based on the label. I'm like, I'm lost here.
It says chocolate box. That's got to be a great bottle of wine.
Great, right? So we're starting with e-commerce, and would love to get in with some dermatologists and several different avenues that we're considering. But certainly the e-commerce is going to be the big piece. With just signed on with a marketing firm that's going to help out a lot. So
and a trusted, having that trusted advisor who makes the recommendation. Like if somebody tells you to do it, they're your trusted advisor. That's a great avenue.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, they're very important to have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So next steps for you then, like what are the things that you're working on? Like where are you in this process? Right? Are you still experimenting and perfecting the formula? You feel like you got the formula perfected?
We've pretty much got the formula, at least our initial product perfected. There's just some little issues in terms of how it's being mixed, maybe that we are altering, but that's a quick fix. And we have located a manufacturer. We're in the process of setting up testing for the product. So there's certain tests that should be completed before you go to market. So that's getting all set up. We're hoping to launch late Q1, early Q2 next year.
Okay. All right. And one of the things that when I've talked with other companies like yours that are creating something and then going out and choosing the manufacturer, that can be an interesting process.
Yeah. And
how did that go for you?
It was, really frustrating for one, because as a startup, we're not going to have the numbers that the larger manufacturers want. And you'll get hit with a real high expense and start, they can't afford that. I mean, I was getting quotes of $750,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's like, that's not realistic. I actually was introduced to this company through the Georgia Department of Economic Development.
Okay.
And so I highly recommend them. They have been a huge, huge help.
So you went to the Georgia Department of Economic Development?
Yep.
And they helped get you in connection?
They have contacts into manufacturers and different pieces, depending upon what company.
Was that a Google thing, or did you run into them in
No, there's another company that I know of, Liveful.
Okay.
And they have been working through them, so they suggested I talk to
Andy
Mailer.
Yeah. Okay, I know
great
all that.
company.
All right, cool.
And turns out they are using the same manufacturer. They recommended the same one for me. So
very nice. So we're going to go to commercial break, and when we get back, I want to talk a little bit about that whole concept of then interacting with that manufacturer. What are some of the things people need to pay attention to? Because I've heard there's some things, right? And then talking about funding, like how you're funding the business. What are you doing to find the right funds to get this to market? Because it's about product, unlike services or technology. You got to create the thing, you got to get it out there and sell it. So there's these multiple steps along. So it's an interesting path. It's a different one.
It is. It's eye-opening for sure.
It certainly is. So we're talking with Julie Stein. She's the CEO, founder of DermaHealth Science. You're listening to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. We'll be back in just a minute. Congratulations, you're your own boss. Now comes the hard part. It's not just about starting a business, it's about successfully managing and growing that business to an eventual exit. And along that entrepreneurial journey, you're going to run into questions and problems that you need quick answers to. Things like, do you need a business plan? How do you read a balance sheet? How do you talk to an investor? When do you bring on a founder? Or what if you're having problems with your partner? These are the types of things that you run into as you're trying to grow that business to the next level, and they may not be the things you want to share in public with other people. They're the problems and issues that arise that, as I have experienced along my own entrepreneurial journey, that I needed to have someone I could trust to reach out to and have a conversation and get a different perspective. And it was often those short conversations that would be the thing that moved me from where I was to where I needed to be. It's for that reason I created the On-Demand CXO product offering. On-Demand CXO is something that you can use to have a conversation with a trusted advisor about what's going on in your business. We do a 1-hour phone call to talk about your business, talk about your objectives, and understand what it's going to take to move you from where you are today to where you want to be tomorrow. From there, you have ongoing access to a Slack channel to ask me questions in private about what's going on in your business, so that I can provide some advice or connections to my network to individuals who can help you solve against that problem. You will also have access to my Facebook page, which is full of other entrepreneurs who are along the same journey, to have more broad conversations, things that you trust and would talk about in a networking event. But when you need to go and have that conversation with a trusted advisor, you will have the ability to have a conversation with me in a place that's safe, completely anonymous, and unbiased. I want to see you succeed and build your very best business. And we're back. You're listening to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. We're talking today with Julie Stein. She is the CEO and founder of DermaHealth Science, and she's here to make all of us continue to look young.
Absolutely.
And to take care of any of those skin problems that you might have during just building a product. And do you have a name for the product? We haven't mentioned that yet.
Oh my gosh, that's like been the
thing.
It's on the front burner. I'm telling you, we are trying to name this thing, and it has been hard. So many names are taken. It's amazing.
So are you doing it based on like what domains are available and things like that? Or is it about patenting and
It's just coming up with a name that gives an indication of what the product is.
Right.
It's a lot harder than maybe you'd think. I mean, it's anything with derm in it or even natural or pro this, or it seems like whatever we think of is taken. And we have a couple ideas, but I did a simple survey last week and it literally was split 50-50 on
well, at least you did a survey.
Yeah, I know. We're still thinking of what we should call it though.
So in that manufacturing process, the getting product built and created, unlike a lot of companies, do technology or you build a services business and really, it's less expensive. Technology used to be, but it's easier now to get something out there and you're not worried about product that might expire. You got to get it manufactured. You got to put it into a bottle or to a drip or whatever your thing is. So funding it. Talk to me about that. How are you just personally, financially, just you can do whatever you want to? Or
that would be great. Oh my gosh, that'd be great. Do you have that winning lottery ticket? If I could have a piece of that.
Do not.
I would love that.
Do not.
No, I've been bootstrapping the whole time up until now, and now it's getting extra expensive because of testing what we're having to do and the purchasing of the packaging and all these added pieces, the marketing I had mentioned for the website and logo, and it's starting to get really expensive. So a couple months ago, I was thinking, I really want to try to avoid the investor route.
Yeah.
As much as I can. That is my goal, is to avoid it. My ultimate goal is to be on the Giving Pledge. So I would love for this product to eventually, or the company to eventually get acquired. So we have to do things right? And so
from the beginning.
From the beginning. That is key. So I opened another company. Call me crazy, right? But
is that the name of the business?
No. It's actually called...
But you should call it that.
I maybe should. It's actually called The Pourpreneur.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's, kind of a funny name. Most entrepreneurs can relate to it, right? It literally means, financially strapped.
Right.
And it has been open to motivate, inspire, and guide fellow entrepreneurs. So it's a way that I can give back. I've been an entrepreneur for 17 years. As far as being aware of being, like I said, it's like a species. So I've always been an entrepreneur. But
we didn't know what we were before.
We just didn't know. Yeah. We didn't understand that's what we were.
In fact, we were just considered unemployed and a little crazy.
That's right. So this company, I actually feature an entrepreneur on Tuesdays. It's called eBlog Tuesdays, Entrepreneurs Inspiring Entrepreneurs, an interview approach. And I interview entrepreneurs at different stages of their entrepreneurship. So they could be the 1 to 5 year kind of newbie stage, or the ones that have been doing it all their life. And then I've got a third stage that I'm still working on getting more interviews for, and that's the hugely successful, maybe got acquired for a lot, or they've just been really, really successful.
Yeah.
Because they all get asked the same questions, and I want people to see the changes, and you've got because I also asked them how long they've been doing this, how many companies they've opened, and what's their age. And I think it'll be a really fun thing.
They answer the age question?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
They do. I actually had someone ask
people to guess.
I actually had someone ask yesterday if I could take that out because he was older. And I said, no, because you are so wise in what you've done.
Yeah, well, there is an ageism around entrepreneurship.
Really?
Yeah. There's this whole conversation around the older you get, the less likely you are to be a successful entrepreneur, even if you've been in it for a while. Right?
Huh. Well, this guy, he doesn't fall in that category.
Younger entrepreneurs, somebody who, so there's like this middle stage, right? That they don't want you to be too inexperienced, but if you're like too far along the path, then you're not necessarily the guy.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
So that piece obviously does not bring in revenue. But the component that does is we're going to be launching a clothing line, actually starting with quality t-shirts that will have inspirational quotes on the t-shirts by the pourpreneur, and looking to partner with businesses that would like to establish more of an employee appreciation / piece of motivation for their staff. Just kind of a fun way just to, everybody loves t-shirts, right? And when they have neat quotes, it's just kind of fun. It's a good conversation piece. So that's the B2B. And then the B2C is, entrepreneurs can get them if they would like. So we are working on getting that to launch, I'm hoping, before the end of the year.
So what's it like working on a couple of businesses at once?
It's great, actually, because the pourpreneur is very left brain. And while DermaHealth, when I was creating the formulations and all, was obviously very left brain, there's so much, we're farther along with that, so there's a lot more right brain stuff going on. And if there's something a little stressful going on, I can switch to the other, and it's literally therapy for me. So I love having both. That's
sort of what I like about my work too. I work with about a dozen companies at a time, and I'm doing operations for one, finance for another, marketing, and I'm a sick individual. I love spreadsheets.
Oh, so do I.
And I love editing.
Yep.
And so those are the things I say for, okay, I'm frustrated with everything right now. I'm going to go build a spreadsheet.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'm going to go edit an article.
Yep.
because it's like the stuff that I like to do, right?
Oh, yeah, calculating the numbers.
Right, and watching everything work. So I get you, because I can switch from one company to the next and be like, today I am not in the mood to do that part of it, right? So anyway, so it does make it interesting. I think entrepreneurs often, we need that, right? Like we need that diversity. So next for you, like where are you headed from a timeline perspective? I know you say first and second quarter. Is it multiple products you're planning? Is it one? Like
we're starting with a product that's emphasizing the skin health and protection. We are going to, and I can't say everything right now because we're doing some testing, third-party testing on mechanism of action, but we believe there are certain things that are happening within the skin that is really promoting the skin to work more efficiently on its own based on this nutrition and the outcomes. Remember I said my skin is no longer dry.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pH thing on your skin. And there's other things tied into that could be really good marketing wise, because it can be a life changer for your skin. So that's kind of where we are with that. But right now it's going to target several different areas. We're going to target people that have eczema as helping with their symptoms. It's no cure, but it can certainly help with their symptoms. And then people that just want healthy skin, they're just looking, they want to use non-synthetic ingredients, and they want their skin to look good because it's healthy, not because just something's on top of the surface. Right.
And so that education piece, that sounds like it's a really important component to this.
Yes, that will be all over our website. It will be opening eyes in terms of, what is truly healthy skin and what does it take to make it healthy, so that they can look at, okay, my skin looks like this, or these are the ingredients I'm putting on it.
Yeah, kind of evaluation tools to look at that.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it can be very confusing. That whole category, some of these categories, if you don't know enough about it, and I even think that about food too. I feel very informed, but then one day you hear, this product's great. And then the next day it's like, terrible, don't eat it anymore. You're like, I don't know what to do.
Well, when I started off, I said I was a Google queen. Well, it is true. You can't believe everything on the internet. Right. And now it's gotten...
Okay, people, you cannot believe everything on the internet.
Like, this is a news flash, right? but I've, with the, I'm kind of faking social media now. I'm trying to tweet. And so I want the articles that I'm tweeting to be reputable and based on scientific evidence. And I am struggling for certain categories to actually find that. And I find it's like blog after blog after blog. And now that I know more, I'm reading, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is what they're sharing with people in terms of these ingredients or what it's doing for them. And it's really frustrating. And so it's no wonder people are really confused. And it's not that the people that write the blogs are doing this unintentionally, but the information that they're able to find is that type of information. And so it's really frustrating. So our goal is to hopefully provide more scientific based information for them.
Well, and the concept of curation, curated content, curated knowledge is so important the more you have it, right? That's what we were used to, that almost in a bad way, because companies were the curators of the content, right? Now we have access to everything.
Yeah.
Now you have to find trusted advisors and people to help you weed through it all.
Yeah.
Like, okay, now I know way too much, right? It's like my wife, we're in the middle of renovating a house and these contractors show up and explain what they're going to do. She's like, oh, I've watched 20 YouTube videos. I know exactly what you're about to do.
What did we do before YouTube,
right? I tiled the floor recently because of YouTube. So
it's a great resource.
Yeah. So someone who wanted to, where would you tell someone who's like, I want to put a product together too, or where would they even start? I mean, you said Google, but were there networking groups, or were there people, or how did you know what to do?
Yeah. So I attribute it a lot to my medical background and just diving in. I really love just self-teaching or self-learning, or however you want to say it. But I guess you have to be willing to, if you don't understand something, then you go out and you find the meaning of that word, and then you just continue on your path. It's just a lot of doing it a lot yourself. I mean, there are people out there, but as far as skincare, this isn't like the skincare hub of the United States by any means. It's West Coast, East Coast sort of thing. So I didn't have people directly that I could talk, like I'm a big face-to-face person, so I would prefer to meet in person. But I've spoken to some people and they help provide some insight. But just getting down to the cellular level too isn't something that all companies, I believe, do, just based on what I've read on their websites and that sort of thing. So it is more of the medical piece. Yeah. So if you can find people in the medical industry, that would be your key.
Well, and that talking about being face-to-face, because so often as entrepreneurs, we do just sit behind Google and, you got to get out to a networking event, you got to connect with somebody, talk to them, you just get a different feel for that.
And there are some meetups out there too. There's one I've been wanting to attend, I just haven't been able to, on medical devices. And so at one time, and we may end up going down that path of a medical device, which seems funny for a skincare product, but it's a class 2 medical device. Yeah. If it's doing things that we think may be happening, then that would be an FDA path. And so there are certain meetups out there that you can get tied into that could be helpful.
Well, very nice. Well, I'm pleased to have met you. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about your journey, and we wish you the best of luck, and you'll have to come back and tell us how it's going.
I would love to.
Because you're just at
Thank you for having me.
First part of it.
I know.
There's just so many more interesting challenges ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll have a boatload of stories.
So you've been listening to Build Your Best Business. I'm your host, Eric Holtzclaw. Join us each week as we cover a new entrepreneurial story, what it takes to successfully start, manage, grow, and eventually exit a business. We've been talking today with Julie Stein. She's CEO and founder of DermaHealth Science, and be on the lookout for her yet-to-be-named product at the beginning of next year. Until next time, what are you going to do to build your best business?